Welcome back. In this tutorial, we are going to focus on vulnerability scanning. You are going to learn about a concept called soft 404. We are going to fix it because this is present in our application. You are going to configure Nginx to block malicious bots that are scanning your website 24/7. And finally, you will use a tool called Nmap to scan your firewall from the outside. Let's talk about this trap that we call soft 404s. I have this diagram that explains it. Here we don't have we could have a regular user, but mostly these are bots. They will try to get files that contains valuable information like your .env files. So this request will go through Cloudflare and will reach your application. Now, Nginx doesn't know about these files because the location blocks that we added are serving just our backend and the built files for Vue. So .env is not known. So Nginx will just fall back to serving index.html. And this query or this request will succeed. But this is a false success because the intent of the bot is to get .env, not index.html. Why this is a false success? Because the bot will think that it was able to get the .env file, so it's going to always come to your web server and it will hammer it day and night. It's going to keep asking it for the same file. But if it gets a 404 not found, it's going to skip this. This is useful for malicious bots and also crawlers like Google's crawlers, for example. If they see that this path doesn't exist on your website, it's going to stop accessing it. And this is good for you and for them because you will not start wasting bandwidth on requests that are going to give 404. And in this case, bots will see a signal that will tell them you are not going to get this file anyways. So they are going to back up. This is the trap that we have right now in our application, and we can test it. Here, this is the new domain. I can come here. So we can see that we have just slash that will go to index.html, but I can add /.env. As you can see, the request was successful. I am still on the website. I don't see any error. And my application, I configured my application to load a 404 page because this is not known. There is no there is no page that will be loaded after accessing this URL. So I have a custom page, but this gives 200 as a HTTP status code. But we don't want to do this. Now, if I go to my production server and type the same query, I will get 404 not found because I am blocking these most of these files that automated bots try to check. And now the response is 404. It's not 200. If I go here and click on this request, we get 404. If we go back to this website where we have the soft 404 problem, you can see that here we are receiving 200. Okay, let's see how to solve this problem. Again, you can go back to my GitHub repository. You have everything in this file. If you scroll down a little bit, you have the vulnerability scanning section. And here, this is what we need to add. You can see that here we are blocking a lot of files, so that we are blocking mainly anything that starts with dot. We have .sql, .old. Yeah, there are plenty of things that we don't want to serve. I will copy this and I will paste it in my Nginx configuration. Now let's go to my server. I am still logged in. I will use nano and let's add this. You can add it here or below, it doesn't matter. Let me explain to you the second location block. Here we are blocking a lot of stuff, even though we are not using PHP in this application. If you inspect the logs, you will see that they are trying to access some admin panels, PHP files, stuff like that. So I just have this location block that will check all these file extensions and will block them. Here, as you can see, I am returning 404 so that I can display that page. And access log and log not found are set to off because I don't want to store these failed requests so that I don't consume a lot of disk space. Because as I mentioned, you will be receiving thousands of requests per day just from bots that are trying to access these files. And here we have something called well-known. You can go to this page on Wikipedia and read more about them. This is important. We don't need to block this. If you do, certbot will not be able to verify your domain and your SSL certificates. And if that happens, certbot will not be able to renew your certificates, and that will break after 90 days. So here again, we are using an expression that will capture most dot files, like .env, .git, stuff like that. But we have one exception, which is the well-known directory. We don't want to block that. We want to keep it. For all files, we are going to deny that request. And again, we are going to return 404, and we don't want to add anything, we don't want to add noise to the log files. Okay, now let's save the file. Let's verify that the configuration is correct. Yes, it is. And let's reload. Now let's go back to the browser. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so remember, this is my new domain. This is the response that I got before this update to the configuration. Now let's refresh the page. And voila, we get 404. Now I cannot get .env or what were the other stuff? Let's check the logs. So they were getting some PHP stuff. I'm not sure what they were trying to get. Yeah, you can see that they are trying to go to some admin thing. I'm not familiar with PHP, but we can take this and see if that will get blocked or not. Put it here. And yeah, that worked because we have PHP at the end. And we can also, I think we are also capturing some Python stuff. Let's see, main.php, that also gets blocked, but let's try with Python. Yeah, that works. Amazing. So yeah, the list can be big. I just try to, you can analyze the logs to see the files that the bots are trying to access, or you could search online. There are many blacklists that you can find to add to your Nginx configuration. If you want, you can use one of these GitHub repositories to block bad bots. And here, this is a repository. They give you some text files that you can just put on your Nginx configuration. They have a few stuff here that you can just include in your configuration. You can read more about this, and you can also come here on this other repository and use it. They have plenty of files here that you can just check. But this is something that you can also configure yourself just by reading the logs. You can also use LLMs. They will be very helpful in this step. You can explain to them your stack so that they can help you block everything. But don't touch some things that will make your application not load or break. Now we have one more thing that I want you to learn, and that will involve this tool, Nmap, the network mapper. It's a free utility that we can install on Ubuntu and other Linux distros. You just run sudo apt install nmap and you will get it. I already have it, so there is no need to download it. And let's verify the version. We have 7.95. That's good. And to use it, we are going to run this command. Here I will type my domain name, and let's see what we have. Now Nmap is going to start. The F flag will run a fast scan, and this is going to check just 100 ports. And one thing that I want to mention is that Nmap, you should run this command on your local computer, not on the virtual machine. You can see that I have opened another terminal tab, and let's see what we have here. So we have 97, and here we have another 3 ports. The sum gives us 100, which confirms the theory or what I explained about this F flag. Now let's analyze the output. You can see that here we have not shown 97. These are other ports that are not available or that are not accessible from basically the public internet. So that's a good sign. And after that, we have 3 ports, which are, this is what I explained in the beginning. We want to allow just HTTP, HTTPS, and SSH. We don't want to open port 8080 or 7700. These are ports that we are using that I am using in my applications to basically access mail search, fast API, and also Vue. But those are running, but they are not accessible from the outside. And as I showed you in the previous tutorials, if you want to access those, you don't open a new hole in the firewall. Instead, use SSH tunneling to open a temporary tunnel between your local setup and the virtual machine. Do your work and then close that tunnel. At this point, you were able to deploy your application manually. You have learned how to deal with bad actors that are trying to access your website. You learn how to optimize the load time and plenty of other skills that are going to be very beneficial. You saw that we are using DigitalOcean, but you can take the concept that you have learned here and use those with other cloud providers. But this is the first step. Now we are going to enter another phase where we are going to automate a lot of stuff. We are going to create an automation pipeline that will allow you to make changes to your application locally, maybe develop a new feature, fix a security problem, and instead of taking the source code, copying it from your local computer to the virtual machine, do the build process, and install the dependencies, and then serve your application, you are going to automate this process. You are going to learn about CI/CD, which stands for continuous integration and delivery, which will allow you to click on a few buttons, and those buttons will run jobs on your behalf. Those jobs will check for security problems. They will check if the dependencies that you are relying on are secure. They will build your front end. They will shut your backend application, reload the new changes if there are any, and other kinds of job. And you will just sit there and watch your new changes become live on your website. And that will take you a few minutes to do instead of hours of manual labor. In that next module, we are going to start slow. In the first subchapter, I will show you how to put this code on GitHub. I assume that you already have one, or you can also use other websites like GitLab or Codeberg, or any Git compatible client. We'll show you how to protect your main branch so that you don't push code accidentally to it. We need to run that pipeline to ensure that everything is secure, everything is correct before merging it to main. And after merging, I will show you how to do the deployment, but that will come in the next subchapters. So here we just want to focus on the code quality. I'll show you how to use the rough library, because here we are using Python to standardize, to run linting and formatting in order to standardize the code that we write. And on the front-end side, you will use ESLint, which is the default one. Okay, we will focus on formatting the code and catching linting errors in the next tutorial. See you next time.